You know, I've been thinking lately about the age that we're in, but more importantly, like we're in an age where people aren't asking themselves anymore, what am I going to be when I grow up? But they're asking themselves, what is the problem that I want to solve? Like that is your identity now. I'll phrase it this way, like what could my art look like if I was a lot more intentional with my collages? Like I think my favorite collage that I completed was the closest thing to how I started collaging on these walls actually. My favorite one is the Miami one for the Bitcoin conference because it's really like psychedelic, but I threw a lot of like what some people would call trash literally onto the canvas, but like mementos and like it was like photo journaling, you know? What I did in my Miami collage was hide a lot of things, like very frankly. Like it straight up said like, why did you go to Miami? Where did you spend the day, the first day, the second day? How many days were you there? Like it's everything is in there. I want to get back to the Miami style, but still mix it with like keeping it pretty and working with colors, you know? What's important is just before I say that I'm done with the collage, I need to think about the concept I'm trying to communicate and the things that people will say most immediately about the collage. Like, so what is this one about? That's a big question that needs to just be in the collage itself. Like it should say somewhere in there, this was originally an AI image. So I have a bunch of other collages all around me, and I'm thinking about, imagine if one of them said the word Kobe, like I write it out, it says Kobe, and then I learn about Kobe Bryant. What if I do one about Jaws and great white sharks? And then I learn a lot about them, and I just put it down on there. And then what if one says life is a collage, and I really keep track of that concept, and then the big word is collage for that one. The big word for the other one is Kobe, so everything revolving around that is basketball history, 2000 to 2000. I think he died in 2020 or something. Just what could I learn? What do I want to learn? And what could each thing what could each thing become? So I wanted to get that out, you know. So my latest goal, besides make money, is obviously to, first of all, I want to fully complete my sketchbook, like from page to page with concepts and drawings. So that's step one, is leave no page white. So then those ideas, I need to keep this page open. Those ideas can then be turned into my next collages, my next graphic novel or anthology series, all my other media, like videos, what I post to Twitter, what I turn into a YouTube eventually. But it all starts at this table, and then from there, I can experiment on my canvases. Then I have a travel sketchbook. I want to fill that up. I'm just getting pieces of paper off of this puppy. So this is the travel sketchbook. Don't you want to see what's inside this? Look at that. But I want to fill this up. There's some stuff from New York. I got that signed from Manny Lynx, which is crazy. This is some trash I'm gonna probably erase one day. But it was me in New York City, New York City, New York City, New York City, random trash, graveyard, another angle of a graveyard, 2 seconds at Tufts, comic book idea, cool calligraphy, more calligraphy, more graphic novel ideas, calligraphy. This has, don't worry about it. Just skip that. Right, so this one has a lot. And then this was like all these monsters are from when I was doing everydays, but it's mostly empty. It even has this good creative, it smells like a studio. It smells like spray paint. Then I got a new one over there. So those are my goals. Those are the things I want to complete. I want to fill up the first one I showed you. I want to fill up my travel sketchbook. Then I want to fill up my other sketchbook. I have another sketchbook here. Let's look through it just for kicks. So this is my other one that's like, it's a paper, it's essentially a paperback, or like, it's bendy right here. And the paper's really weird. It's kind of textured and thick, but again, I like to look through this one too because it's got some good ideas in it. It's got, more importantly, lots of blank space. So, it's just got some cool stuff in it. So, review. I want to fill in those 3 sketchbooks. That is my goal. That is a 1-sentence thing that I'm capable of doing. I want to fully complete like 3 sketchbooks. The first one I showed you, the travel one, the weird bendy one, and then eventually the new one. Next thing I want to do is, collage and just make some cool art with these. The 6-pack of this size, and I think there's an 8. I think there's an 8. It's an 8-pack of computer paper-sized. It's a paper-sized mini canvases. I want to complete these. I want to get these all colored, textured, and then eventually sold. So that's my 1 sentence. That's my 1-sentence goal for things I want to complete. All right, so I know I'm about to leave the house, but I'm starting this Instagram off again. I'm gonna start posting here every day. Now, what's annoying to me is the last thing I learned from my last everyday challenge was that I don't think I can complete something within 1 day, but you can expect to come here and see what I'm working on every single day. I think that my the other one's titled my Instagram called Michael Manning 46 is more personal stuff, and then the Collage Dawn is a lot more final stuff, and then anything else that I like from here will trickle its way up there. So that's the hierarchy. Is like most finished is the Collage Dawn, more personal is this, and then it's more personal is Michael Manning 46, and then this one is going to be everyday, really messy, works in progress. Boom. So in the spirit of that, I was just talking about last night what I wanted to do. I want to fill up my 3 sketchbooks as quickly as I can, and then I want to, once I've done that, cover all my new canvases as much as I can. That's the next thing I want to do, and just get some color on them or get some writing on them. So you can even see all the writing I did last night on this one, which is Life as a Collage. I did all this crazy writing, just journaling, getting textures down, making it messy, making it feel lived in. And that's like one of my favorite looks, is like the look of like a New York City billboard, but like a grimy one, like one of those old ones that gets ripped up and shredded, or like on Broadway, like just that texture of like layers on layers on layers on layers on layers. I like that a lot, and that's what I want to do with these canvases. So stay tuned for that, and rock and roll. Hey, what's up? I'm an artist, and I'm about to show you what I used to charge for my art and what I charge for my art now that I have a formula to correctly sell my art for what it is worth. Okay, so speaking in generalities, when I first got out of college, I was selling my art basically for what sounded right in my head, because I didn't have a formula for telling people to their face, this is what I'm worth. I just kind of went by, this feels like something it would sell for. It's not too much, it's also not too little, but it was not being fair to my time, and in the long term it ended up hurting me. So here's the other way to do it. Again, speaking of generalities, I do think that most artists aren't business people. They don't want to be intrusive. Speaking of my own ambitions, speaking from my own ambitions, I could tell you that I would rather get a sale, period, than have me name the price and have people go, oh yeah, that's cool, but it's too high. If that's the case, the least you can do is just say a price that you know you're going to say, and it's going to feel too high once you do this formula, but just tell people, hey, it might not be the right price for you, but you can come back later when it is, and also you can let your friends know, because there is value to that. There's actually a priceless value to saying, okay, I know you might have wanted my art, but you can still be a patron by just supporting me, following me here and there. That's free, and that's huge. Things I'm about to talk to here seem obvious when you think about them, but when you say it out loud, and especially when you speak about it in a forum where, you know, there's eyes on it, I encourage all artists to start to think about things this way and write it down and spend, like, I'm not going to put a week or a day on it, but like spend as much time as you can until you can speak about it. Not like, it doesn't even have to be confidently, just comfortably. You can find a sense of like calm speaking about your prices and being like, no, this is straight up, this is what it's worth, this is what I need to do it, and this is what it is, take it or leave it. That's the attitude that you need, though. You need the attitude of just like, take it or leave it, straight up. Like, you know, there's no pressure here. If you like my art, that's great, but like, you can like it for free, and if you want to buy it, this is what I need to be a full-time artist, or for me to do it again, straight up. Otherwise you're losing money. So think about that. You know, you deserve it, you know. So after thinking about it a little bit more as well, you know, as a collage artist, I'm not even necessarily interested in selling recreations of my work, like posters or postcards or little stickers or anything like that, because it has always been difficult for me to photograph my art and then translate that into something else that's very two-dimensional. I think that my art thrives in like live spaces where you can really see like how much texture there is in it, because whenever I've tried to turn it into like another 2D work of art, people always go like, is that a painting? You know, it just doesn't translate almost ever. So most of my, really all of my prices are high because I'm not interested in doing recreations, not until I find like someone who really knows how to capture my work in a manner where you go, oh, that's a bunch of magazine clippings. I think I work best when I really do art every single day. And I have goals, like something I can check off the list that is, what's the word? Quantitative. You can quantify it. And it's not so much this deep emotional, you can get caught in, what I'm trying to say is you can get caught in your feelings as an artist, which is great to make some meaningful art, but if you quantify it, like, is my art becoming really that one? Like that's what I wanted to get to, is like, just because my art is more emotionally stimulating or thought-provoking, does that raise the price of my work? Like, what is the point of doing this if I can't make it a lifetime thing? Like, I really do want to get to 6 digits and then 7 digits, price my work like that. But I was thinking the other day, like, is the only way to do that spending more time on my art? Because that's not healthy. And like, just because I spent this much more time on my art, does that mean now it's worth $100,000? So I'm gonna have to spend like a year on a work of art and be like, yep, I spent, this many hours on it, 525,600 minutes, right? Whatever. And that can't be it either. It can be part of it, but what I've been thinking about lately is this balance of quantifiable success and emotional, healthy relationships to my career. So basically, how can I become more of a full-time artist? Because I'm a part-time teacher, but how can I raise the price of my art without it really, taking over my life entirely in an unhealthy way? So that's an interesting question. It's a very interesting question. I think that, I'm kind of rambling here, but, the answer to how do I get to $100,000 worth of art, like art that's worth that much, it's not that I spend more time on it. It's that with every work of art that I sell, I get more of a reputation for producing a certain result. And then I can move up to a better studio. A better studio has a better rent, has a higher rent. And a better neighborhood does too. So I need to put that into the price of my artwork and the price of my life, the price it takes for me to, next thing you know, I have speaking engagements. I need to travel around the world to do a mural, right? Like all these things add up to making my prices higher because I got to be over here, I got to be over there. And if I'm going to do this full time, then I need to price that into the price of my art. And, I am a vessel. And I know this is very if you're not an artist, this is when you get triggered by artists, is when we say shit like this. But stick with me here. This is hopefully gives you some insights into my life. I'm a vessel. I really want to channel the times that I live in and make something that will be here when I die. And people will go, okay, let me look at this perspective on life. Here's this kid that was adopted, into, this family at this time and made this type of art and had this concept. And that's interesting. And how did this get in front of him? And how did this opportunity get in front of him? And think about how he went from rags to riches or whatever it is, right? That's what I want. I want to tell a story that you can put yourself into. And, all these pieces were floating around in my head, but where do you start? Where you start, the answer is, where do you start so that you can get to that 6-digit price tag? The answer is you start at $100, then you start doing $1,000. My first collage I did out of college was 4 digits. I sold it for $1,200. And this is the evolution of my pricing right here. It's just so naively out of school, I didn't want to do the work of what did it take to make that work of art? How much time did I spend on it? What was the price of my materials? I just chose a price that sounded good to me. $1,200 sounds fair. And that was it. And I just kind of told the person who bought it, I was like, no, really. They're like, are you sure? This feels like it's worth $30,000, right? And they were probably right, but I didn't believe that. They even kind of broke it. They suggested it to me, just how long did it take you? How many pieces of paper are there? How many magazines do you think you use? I was like, listen, 1,200 is great, right? So next thing you know, 1,200. Now I'm in the category of 5-digit stuff, 5-digit sales. But that's because, I'm not going to explain that, I guess. But there's a formula to it, and you need a formula to evolve and to move forward and to just come into your true being, the most you can be, the best you can be, the strongest self the one that can finally is not only strong enough to stand up for yourself, but for you to stand up for others, you know, people that are putting it together themselves and everything. And it's really exciting. It's a really exciting place to be. I know I don't look excited, but all right, this isn't really anything new, but I just can't sleep until I get this idea out before I forget it. If you are an artist, like a professional artist, and you're thinking about all of your business expenses, you know, like how to price your art and the time it takes to do it and all this stuff, you are the business. You are the business. You know, like anything you do, you're the business. So like any place you go, you're the business. Anything you spend your money on, you are the business. Any idea that pops into your head, a podcast, travel here and there, YouTube episode, you are the business. So all those expenses go into you because you're worth it.